All right, welcome back, everybody, to Black Wolf Podcast. Today we got McMonster.
Hello.
McMonster is a painter in Portland. He's not from Portland. What, you pretty much from Portland? What was the story on that?
Yeah, my dad was in the military growing up, so I traveled all over, moved all over the world, and now I'm just kind of landed here.
And he's got a pretty cool style. I'll hold it up for all the people who watch this podcast. It's almost like a gloomy inky style, but I really love the way you bring out highlights on it because you kind of tell you really make them pop. How would you describe your style to all listeners?
Oh man, I hear whimsical a lot, or whimsy. It's like a dark magical feel to it.
Very fantasy in a way.
Yeah, exactly. It fits into like a category in between fantasy and horror art, I would say.
Wow. What would you say inspires this kind of artwork?
Oh man, lots of things. You know, it really varies from piece to piece. Like anything that Tolkien's ever said or written down is pretty inspiring to me. I like dragons and mythical creatures, wizards and witches. Anything occult is really inspiring, and just the contrast that you get with the gradients of gray and the black, like open up that world to make it look like it hasn't looked before.
Yeah, you mentioned like just Tolkien and books in general, and I could see this as just stories of imagination within books.
Yeah.
It just totally fits that style. How does that contrast with your name, McMonster, which is not an Irish rap name? Oh yeah, watch out for that.
The camera. So actually, I'm going to say my real name right now because McMonster is a mashup of my name / what I do. My last name's McQuarrie. It's Josh McQuarrie. Mm-hmm. And then I draw monsters, so McMonster.
There we go.
And that's how I got it. It's very simple. It's not exciting. There's no origin story to it. It's just literally my last name and what I do.
And we were kind of talking for a minute before we started the podcast, and he ran me by the story of how he started realizing that he could make a living out of this. And it wasn't really planned. You were where were you at?
Austin, Texas.
You were in Austin, Texas. You're having like a low financially, and you just sold one of your paintings for I don't remember how much it was, but then you thought, oh man, that was easy. And I got like how many more? Like 40 more of these things.
Right, exactly.
You're like, I might as well keep trying to do this.
Right. So I was in Austin, Texas, screen printing with some friends of mine. And while I was down there, the money that they had paid me had already kind of diminished and gone away. So I had a painting that I just like threw up on Instagram for a live auction. And at the end of the day, I ended up making $150 off it and was like, oh, cool, I'm going to do this again tomorrow. And I did it again the next day, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm just going to keep doing it. I have like 30 paintings back home that I could just do this with while I'm down here. And I ended up making more money selling my paintings than I did, working my ass off screen printing for 12 hours a day for 2 weeks. And I got home and was like, all right, I'm going to keep on doing that. And I was working part-time for like a grow house operation, and within like a month or two, I had realized that I didn't need to go to work anymore. I could just paint and sell them and be totally fine.
How'd you end up in Portland then?
I was living down in San Luis Obispo, California, which is, my personal opinion, the worst place to live. And I had been told, you should move to Portland, man. That's where the art scene's popping off. Like, you should really be up there and checking it out. And I finally, had given in. I was like, fine, I'm going to move to Portland, and packed up my shit. And I've been here 5 years ago, since December 1st.
He was telling us that he knows like almost all the artists that have come on the podcast.
I heard that. Yeah.
That's really cool. I do. They're all very wonderful human beings.
Yeah. I mean, just the Portland art community is so supportive. I mean, what would you say is different about the Portland art community than other art communities?
Oh man, probably how accepting and welcoming it is. I feel that a lot of art communities are really like cliquey, so it's kind of hard to get into a new group of people who have, they've all known each other for 15 years. They all grew up together. They've been in the game. They get up together every night, all that stuff. Whereas in Portland, where you come in and you're like, hey, my name's Doo-Doo-Doo and I do this, and everyone's like, oh, awesome, man, you should come and do this with us and this with us and this with us. Like, let me introduce you to this person and this person. And you're like, oh, oh, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I guess I'm in the community now. That's awesome.
Do you think it's cliquey because of financial competitiveness in other places?
That I mean, it's really like a toss up. I feel like between that and like it's more territorial. You know, it's their community. They built that community. Like, why should we let anybody into our community that we built? They didn't help us. You know. Where in Portland, it's like, we don't give a shit. Cool, man. Come hang out and draw stickers with us. Let's hang out.
Yeah. And it's weird because you see those aspects of Portland a little bit as people are a little hostile towards people moving into Portland.
Right.
You think it would be more like that.
Maybe those people aren't artists, though.
They aren't.
Yeah.
I think they're just more typical business people who are all about monetary stuff.
Right.
Not necessarily about expression. I mean, artists are like usually trying to express a message, express an idea, and we just love the stew of ideas that actually happens.
Yeah.
And yeah.
There was something you just posted recently where you were doing a lot. You recorded yourself painting.
The time lapse.
Yeah, tell us about that. That was really cool.
So the time lapses, I started working with when I got into this kind of style. My older style used to be like a lot more illustrative and psychedelic and colorful. And then when I was doing this is all just ink and water. And it's just like 5 jars of different variants of ink and different amounts of water to get your different gradients. And I was playing with it. And like, as I was doing it, like it looks cool. Like when you add the ink to the water, you know, it like shoots out. And then when you dry it with the hair dryer, it like moves around. And I just threw my iPhone up above my shelf one day and turned it on and like recorded myself painting. I was like, oh, that looks cool. And I shared it and then it blew up. Like that was the thing that really like got my traction going, was like people get to see my process. So as like I keep progressing and keep trying new things, I keep doing 2 new time lapses, and every single time it's like, it's the most viewed thing I have is just like the time lapse. People want to see how you're doing it, what you're using, like what the entire process is from start to finish. And if you can watch it in under 60 seconds, it's gratifying,
Totally.
You're not like sitting there for 4 hours during a Bob Ross special. It's 60 seconds, you're done. You're like, oh shit, I watched this dude create an entire piece of artwork.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
No disrespect to Bob Ross.
Yeah, no disrespect to Bob Ross at all.
I was going to ask you how you get such an even wash in some of those gradients. Because, I mean, I used to do a lot of like gouache stuff and some ink work. But, man, it's just seamless. It's perfect. Because you usually get the lines.
Right.
And it looks like an 8-bit or like a 4-bit
right.
like colorway.
Yeah, totally. I know what you're saying. That is the heat from the hairdryer.
Really?
Yeah. So when you lay it on, it's actually a lot darker than what it is when you add that heat. When you add that heat, it changes those molecules inside the ink to dry faster, so you get a lighter base rather than it sinking in and soaking into that paper. So like that will create that evenness for you.
So do you start with the dark part and then blow the hairdryer and it gets lighter, or is it the other way?
So what I do is I start with one base, and it's starts in the center, and it goes from the lightest gradient ink to the darkest to the corners, and I do it in a spiral motion, and then I heat it from the inside out, and that blends it all together.
Wow.
And I mean, there will be times when it's like, it's choppy in some parts or not choppy, but I use that in the painting itself to hold it together, so you won't ever see it unless it looks like it's intentional.
Wow. What else do you know?
I know a lot, man. I know a lot.
So I could tell you use some white paint. I mean, that
Right.
really works well with what you're doing. God, how this wolf just pops out too.
Right, so that's all white acrylic ink, and for the stippling effect, that's all just gel pens. It's just white gel
Really?
pens. That's all it is. They suck for line work, but using them for stippling, they're perfect because every time you tap it, it reloads that ball again, and then boom, you only need it once. So if you're trying to do a line with it, it's like it'll crap out with you like halfway through the middle.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh, that just like hits like weird like growing up memories of trying to experiment with them and thinking, how am I going to find use of this? And that can't even do a line.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
But for dots, perfect.
So what do you do to like get inspired?
Oh man, there's lots of things. A lot of time it's just that base layer. I'll do that base layer and then I'll sit and I'll stare at it and I'll look and like, all right, what could this be? All right, well that kind of looks like a hill there. That kind of looks like, this could be, you know, a forest scene here, and like so like the piece itself, there's that base layer will inspire the rest of the piece. Like half the time I want to say that it's that, and the other half the time really it's looking at other people's artwork, like going through Instagram and going through Pinterest and going through like Google, you know, just like similar works, and then seeing what people have done and then taking that and making my own version of it. Like a lot of my artwork, a lot of it is from seeing what other people have done and saying, okay, I can do that, but I can do it this way, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's the gift that keeps giving.
And so how did you get started in painting in general?
In painting, I've always done art like my entire life.
What did you do first?
As far as like artwork wise?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, doodling in math class and shit like that.
Gotcha. Humble beginnings.
Right, exactly. You know how everybody starts.
Were there traces of this type of artwork in your early work?
Ish. When I first started taking painting seriously, I was stationed in Afghanistan in 2009. Whoa. And when you're overseas, there's literally nothing to fucking do over there. You know, if you're not working, you're sleeping. So to fill that small gap of time, I was painting, trying to, you know, just take the mind somewhere else. And when I got back to the States, I was like, all right, well, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what made me feel like really great while I was there and made everything else go away. So when I got back to the States, I was just painting, and it was all monsters per se. But they were like super vibrant colors, and, you know, they were more like solitary figures rather than entire scenes. And from then on, it got into more of a psychedelic, what's the word I want to use when it's copied on both sides?
Mirror, symmetrical.
Like a mirror, yeah, symmetrical. Yeah. Boom, that's the word. I can never remember that word, ever. Oh, shit. It's the boots, man. It's the boots. I swear to God, I'm not going to move my feet anymore. It was more of a symmetrical psychedelic vibe, which a buddy of mine had told me, like, take my stationary figures. He's like, why don't you make it more psychedelic? And I did that. And then it turned into, I got invited to a show where it was like, I love your art. Can you make it darker? And I was like, yeah, I got this bottle of fucking black ink right here. Try this.
Oh, literally darker.
Like literally darker.
Oh, okay. I thought they were talking like in terms of subject.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. Both. And I had a bottle of black ink, and I did a piece where it was just a forest and a really small house and a really little guy and a really giant monster. And I did it, and the reaction I got from it was just like phenomenal. Like, I had been painting for a long time, and by 10 years, and then by this is the reaction I had never seen, but I've always wanted, you know. Mm-hmm. And I was like, cool, let me fucking run with this and let's see where it goes. And now I'm here.
Wow.
So is there traces? Maybe not like identical traces, but it all had a hand in where it's at now.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know Christian Gabriel?
Christian Gabriel, the name sounds super familiar.
You mentioned you were stationed in Iraq, right? Afghanistan. He was one who was, I want to say it was Iraq, and he used artwork to help cure his PTSD, and it was like
No, it's a fantastic medicine.
Yeah,
it really is.
I mean, he was affected pretty bad from it. Yeah, and this was like the only thing that really cured him, because he went into alcoholism and
right.
He was angry, and you're affected.
You really are, man. And I did the same thing. Like, it took me like a good 6 months of being back before it clicked that, oh, I should be painting right now.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be at the bar closing it down and then, deciding which one of me and my drunk friends is going to drive home. It was a messy time. And, and if I didn't have my artwork, I don't even know where I'd be right now.
Right. I mean, have you seen strange forms of therapy or unexpected forms of therapy from your other colleagues who were in the war? I've always been curious about this.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of people did artwork. That's not normal. Or that's just not like a more well spoken about form of therapy for recovering from a war. I mean, that's not an easy thing to come back from.
Yeah, you know what's a popular one? Fishing.
Really?
Fishing. You would think that alone time would just be detrimental, but that helps a lot. I know people that turn to other forms of artwork, whether it's sculpture or what's another one? Knitting. Knitting is a big one.
Just like simple tasks.
Just simple tasks, just to keep your mind focused on something else for for a long period of time without having to go back into, thinking about things.
Yeah. I think, what was the one that he was talking about where he it wasn't called art, but it was
it was art
called
therapy.
art, but it wasn't technically art. It was just an acronym for it.
Yeah, I forget. Accelerated something therapy.
Yeah.
Accelerated revolution, something like that. I don't remember. I don't remember.
I think the idea behind it was you are repeating something rather simple,
Right.
and it somehow triggers something in your brain to distract you enough from just your everyday thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found that fascinating.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this, and you don't have to come up with one answer if you don't want to, but is there any artists in Portland particularly that inspire you?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like who?
Shoot.
Or-
I don't know if you're familiar with Awake.
I don't think so.
I feel like I've heard the name for sure.
Awake, he paints a lot with like gouache and watercolors. He's a fantastic artist. Definitely one of the people that I would recommend for here. Yeah, he's just, when I show you his stuff, you'll see his style is like something I really have never seen before. It's all movement, but it's all still. It's all color, but it's all solitary. He's amazing, and he's another full-time artist and doing it every single day and grinding. He's moved into portraits, and he's done something like some crazy amount of like 90 plus portraits in the last like 3 months or something like that. He grinds.
That's like one a day.
Yeah, like he grinds almost probably harder than almost everyone I know. I mean, there's a lot of people that grind hard. I didn't say that. All right, everybody grinds super hard. I know you all grind.
He took it back.
but I mean, he is super, super inspiring to watch and to see his growth from when I first met him until now. It's just it's breathtaking. Dr. Scott is another one of those people that is super inspiring. It's from watching like his first charcoal drawings to seeing what he's doing now, to move to stipple, to move to stippling, to move over to paint, to move all of his different styles that he's doing is absolutely fantastic. Even watching RX Skulls like go from, all of his digital sticker making to now he hand carves all of his wood blocks to make all of his stuff. It's absolutely amazing. There's too many people to name that are so inspiring to watch everybody take like from 5 years ago when I got here to see what they were doing. Now they're all doing something similar, but they've grown. It's all inspiring. The whole community is so inspiring to see like these people start from these humble beginnings to like where they're at now. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, people that grind out that hard though, it's so hard to not get burnt out. And it happens to a lot of people. They'll go so hard for so long and they'll have that motivation, but then it dies out. And I say it's a mystery to how to cure it. I don't know. I mean, like, how do people like stay inspired to keep going with such great momentum?
Get past the art block.
I mean, how do you do that though?
I don't know how everybody does it, but personally, there's several mediums I like to work with. I like to do like larger mural work. Like I have got a backyard. I'm so lucky enough to have a backyard that butts up with a little mini mart, little bodega, and their back cement wall runs up against my backyard. So I have this entire blank canvas that I can paint anytime I want.
Wow.
So if there's ever a point where I'm like, all right, hands up, I don't know what to do anymore, I can walk back and do that. Most of my friends in the city are musicians. So like playing music or going and hanging out with them and seeing them do their craft is very inspiring as well. It's just, for me personally, it's switching it up. It's, go do something different, try something different. If I paint every day and I get stuck, maybe I'll try drawing, or maybe I'll, my girlfriend, she's very talented with, crafts and like, crocheting and, clay work and all this stuff. And seeing her do that is inspiring in its own way. And like, oh, okay, I can do this, I can do that. I see what you're doing there. I take little bits and pieces of my life from different pockets of other people to help me get past that.
Yeah, I heard this interview with it was some designers and artists on, I think it was like Design Milk's podcast, but this girl was saying I would never look at other visual artist artwork for inspiration. That's like creative incest. And in my head, I was like, that's kind of bullshit. I think you're full of shit.
Wrong.
I was like, that's
wrong.
yeah. I mean, like that's just you lying.
Yeah.
Of course, like
Exactly.
of course you look at other art, you
Yeah.
look at other design. I mean, that's kind of how everything comes together. You
Right.
look at other things, everything's visual. It's like you're not only going to get inspiration from hearing a song. I mean, like that is inspiring, but
Totally.
that's not, you can't discount all other visual things and say, no, that's like insane. It's like, what a gross word to put it to.
Yeah.
It's like, I would never do that. It's like, okay, you're full of shit. I think you're completely lying to the whole world right now.
Wrong. She's wrong.
It's like, but why be embarrassed to say that? You know, why would she say that?
Maybe she's pulling too much from one specific artist, and she doesn't want you to know which one it is, so she has to say that.
Dude, I think you're onto something. Yeah. And
That
then-
sounds like classic misdirection. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All other visual art is bullshit, and I hate it, and I don't ever look at it. It's not my thing.
Is there ever like this is? I don't usually ask this directly, but is there a message that you're trying to send with the art you make?
Ooh, good one. I think if I were to put a message on what I'm doing, I'd say things could be better than what they are. It doesn't always have to be like doom and gloom. Things can be fantastical and whimsical and beautiful, even if they aren't. You know, it's what a difficult question you just asked me.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm giving you hard ones today.
No, that's fine.
taking
God,
it well.
a specific message.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if anything, it's create it. You know, I get it all the time as people are like, you know, with your work, you create these stories. Like I have all these stories. You know, maybe the message would be, you know, what's the story? Like, what do you think it is? Like, maybe it's make your brain work. Tell the story for me, because I don't ever attach a story to any of these. I don't like give any. I barely even title the pieces when I do. This is going to be a shocker, but when I do like my print work and stuff, when I hand my prints off to go get made, like I have the guy making the prints. Like you name them when you put them on the site. I don't want to attach anything in there to like bring someone's imagination to what I have to say. I want them to do all the work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's pretty great.
Thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, Bryce Wong was telling us something similar where he said he would have his work up and someone was like, "Oh yeah, that just reminds me of this message," and he's like, "Damn, I got to use that."
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
Writing that down.
yeah, right. He's like, I wasn't really thinking about anything. I just kind of put it up there.
Right.
But I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, a lot of artwork is all about just it's up for interpretation.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, I have my own narrative, behind it and like what I'm thinking, but I don't ever want to push that on anyone else's thoughts. It's too leading. It's better when someone comes back to me and it's like, oh, dude, this reminds me of this one thing that was like this. It's this story that goes like this. Like, awesome, dude. I had no idea. I've never heard that fucking story before. I'm glad that you got to use your imagination and tie it to something else. That's great.
Yeah. Well, it's also like the idea of how viewers enjoy a 2 + 2, not a 4.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. That's
Yeah.
nice one.
I didn't come up with it. I heard it somewhere, but I mean that is kind of the principle, and
Yeah.
also like I think it maybe stem from like a Pixar thing or some shit.
Huh.
Well,
Yeah,
whoever
they
said
are-
it is a fucking genius.
did a great TED Talk on how to tell stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that Red Bull.
You got to chase.
We're not sponsored
you
by
gotta
Red Bulls. You got to get that shit.
Yeah.
I am going to take
Yeah.
But we are
the
sponsored by
vodka-
Cascade Street Distillery.
Yeah,
And
we're putting it
thank you.
down. We love it.
Yeah.
and North Sister
Got
Vodka too.
North Sister Vodka,
Sister Vodka,
what is it?
South Sister Gin.
We haven't cracked open the Chipotle vodka.
Chipotle
yet.
vodka. The Chipotle vodka
That's
is intense.
Yeah, no,
In a
that's
good
usually,
way. In a good way.
We grow to love it for sure. Yeah. So how do you stay healthy mentally?
Oh, good question. Healthy mentally. Wow. I lock myself in my studio away from all human beings for days at a time. I have a wonderful group of human beings that I hang out with and get to call friends that, I don't know, make me feel important. And, we all take care of each other and we all love each other very much. It's a very hard group to get into. And I am more than lucky to have found all these people. They do a lot. But besides that, like really, it's just I push myself to do this, that I don't have any other time to think about anything else. So that like blocks out all the bad. So really, this is like, it keeps me mentally healthy. If I didn't have this, I'd be a fucking wreck.
But couldn't that drive you crazy in a way? If this is like the one thing you do and you don't give yourself time to do other things. I mean, do you give yourself time to do other things? Like, what is like what's your escape
from this?
I mean, let's say, for example, RX walks his dog. He got a dog, and like that's his escape.
Right. Okay.
I mean, Friends is a legitimate answer. I think.
And I wouldn't say you're escaping it, but like
Right.
when you do need to like take a break, his dog brings him joy,
Right.
in secondary form.
Honestly, there's probably nothing else that I'd rather be doing.
God damn, you're a true artist.
So
He's real, folks.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
like, no, I hear it a lot, I gotta do this, I have art block, I gotta take a break, it's too much. It was like, dang, I love that. When it's too much, I love that. Like, that means you're doing a good job. If you have too much artwork that you have to be doing, that you have to do,
Right.
you're doing it right. It's never burdening me. If I have like 10 or 15 commissions like on my desk, I'm like, all right, I got to get these done in 2 weeks. It's like, it's sick. Awesome. I don't have to do anything else but paint.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in the world, I only have to do that, and it takes care of all the other bullshit that I don't want to deal with. That's awesome.
It's fun to get in the zone like that.
It is, man.
And when
it
you
really,
have a
really
deadline, it helps you like rise to the occasion and just get it done faster, better, more efficient.
Exactly.
You might learn something about yourself in the process.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's the thing. You get to do, I mean, the deadline for the thing you have to do is something that you should love to do. I mean, even if I wasn't making it as an artist and I was still working a 9 to 5 and I was still, doing this, like, I would still be doing the same thing. There's nothing else I would be doing. I mean, there's things you have to say no to. Like, your friends want you to go out every night and like party and hang out. Like, nah, I'd rather be sitting by myself painting. Like, it's so freeing and gratifying to finish one that it's just like, I don't know. I don't see myself wanting to do anything else. Like, I don't need a break from it because I love it. It's taking care of me, and I'm taking care of it. And as I go, it just gets better. Practicing it every single day is all it is. Every piece I make is just another piece of practice. And every time I do it, it just gets a little better in a different way. I figure something new out. Like the highlighting with the white dots and stuff, that's only like 2 or 3 months old. Before that, it was just the black and gray. So I figured that out, and boom, and now I'm here. And now I'm figuring out different ways to work with light, and I'm figuring out this, and I'm figuring out that.
Hairdryer experiments and all.
The hairdryer, man. They've got a Dyson hairdryer, and it's $400.
I've heard of this actually,
and you can see through it. Like,
yes, it's a circle.
It's a circle, and like I'm like, for my time lapses to be able to see the painting still.
Put a GoPro in the middle, dude.
Do a little quick editing afterwards. Bing bang boom.
That's really cool.
So as someone who, like, you just kind of started and marketed yourself on accident in a way,
Right.
What kind of advice would you give to someone who's trying to come up and who has some skills but not quite sure how to put themselves out there correctly? I mean, what would you say you've learned, mistakes you've made, and how are you continuing to do it?
I'd say the first key is to just don't stop. Like, whatever you do, don't stop. Get yourself painting, drawing, sculpting, making music, whatever it is, make yourself do it every day. Like, even if you have, 2 jobs and kids or whatever, or wife, and, you have to do this and you have like other projects going on, make time for that one thing every day, and it will only get better. And then say you have the time and say you have the skills and you're starting and you want to be bigger, you have to have, it's just patience. is just waiting. Like none of this happened, overnight. It was, I've been painting and drawing, my entire life, seriously for 10 years. And at 23, I set myself a goal. I was like, by 33, to give myself a 10-year goal, I want to be having my artwork support me. And now I'm 30. I beat my goal by 3 years, and it's doing it.
You're so reasonable to give yourself that long of time, because some people would be like, in 2 years.
Yeah. No. My Aunt Mary, she's very into the self-help books and all that jazz, and she was like, Josh, you have to give yourself 10 years of doing something every day before you can be successful at it. And I was like, that sounds legit. You read it in a book? Cool. All right.
Well, what's the rule about to be an expert at something? It takes so many hours.
10,000 hours.
Yeah.
But that's kind of random. But still,
it's totally. But like, what
it's
is that?
It's a good point, though.
I'm
Absolutely.
bad at math. What would that relate to?
How many years would that be?
Yeah.
That
Also
would be.
bad at math.
That's if you. How many hours a day are you doing? One. If you're doing 1 hour a day, if maybe let's say 2. Let's say you do it 2 hours a day. That's going to be.
Let's do some math.
That's going to be way more than 10 years.
Right.
Okay, we're
All right, go
right
keep
now.
talking.
All right. But I mean, like 10 years is, you could be good at something, but to like make a living at it. I mean, let's think about it. If you go to college for 4 years, I guess that accelerates.
13.69 years if you're doing it 2
Jesus.
days, 2 hours a day.
See, and I was jamming super hard. I was in there
Yeah.
like 5-10 hours a day.
There you go.
Yeah. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
That's
yeah.
solid.
I mean, and even to my expectations now, I was not ready to be where I am now. I wasn't thinking that it was really going to be like, when it happened quick. It was like, cool, my stuff caught on, and now it's catching on to everybody else too. And now like those time-lapse videos, like half of them are licensed out to like, People Are Awesome and all these Facebook pages and all that stuff. Jukin, I think is the name. So they own these videos and they put them out, and like I get people all the time like, do you know that your video on Facebook has 14 million views? I'm like, I had no idea.
Jeez.
Wow.
So when it took off really fast, and I didn't change anything. I just got in the studio and I just kept going. Yeah. And that's all you really can do. And then when people approach you, I have been lucky enough to have some business savvy friends that have helped me through like, all right, this guy's offering this and telling me this. What do you think? And they'll give me their advice, and either I take it or I don't. And
Wow.
regardless, the next day I get back in the studio and do the same thing.
I think that is important. And you touch on something that a lot of people like probably don't mention, is that you do gotta turn to people who know the business side.
Yeah, man. You're not gonna get anywhere by yourself.
Yeah,
ever.
it's like I tried doing like the paperwork and like the accounting for Black Bulb here for a while until I started getting a lot of letters from the IRS. And then I was like,
You are being audited.
maybe this isn't for me. All right.
I should probably talk to Jack. He's an accountant.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
I'll just keep taking photos and doing video work. I'll let
Right.
someone else do that.
Right. And I mean, realistically, I wouldn't be anywhere without the help from all the people I get around me. Like I have a guy, Austin Phillips. He runs Genuinely Whatever. This is the site that all my prints and everything are sold through. All I have to do is make the artwork, take it in, get it scanned, sign it when it's done. He produces the website, manages the website, takes care of all my print orders, takes care of all the shipping, all the handling, all the media blast and multimedia stuff is all done by him. I don't have to do a thing.
So you do media blast, you do social. I mean, you have a site, you do social. What else do you do? Is there anything else like?
I mean, there's a guy from North Carolina. His name's Chris that runs Wear Mogul. It's a t-shirt company. And it's the same thing. I don't have to do a thing but give him my artwork, and he takes care of all the rest. And then he sends me money when I'm owed money. Like,
That's cool, man.
And that's the way I'd like to work. If I can keep it with that, with everybody that I work with, everything's gravy. And that's the kind of rapport I'm looking for, is like, hey, I'll do all this stuff. Percentage this, percentage you. Cool. That's fine. Otherwise, it takes away from doing this. When I was, making the prints myself and going to FedEx and getting copies and and then going to the post office and then taking care of shipping and then taking care of handling and then deal with all the customer crap that you have to deal with when it comes to like, hey, my print came and it was bent, blah 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 blah. It's just so much that like people don't understand that side of it is just as important as this side of it, as creating it, and it equally takes as much time to do all the stuff.
Yeah, we just had Manatee Commune on, and he's a musician. I don't know if you know him or not, but he emphasized how valuable it is to have a manager. He's like, I just let the manager handle that shit.
Right.
I make the music.
Right.
And his life is way better that way.
It absolutely.
So it sounds
I'm also looking for a manager if anyone's interested.
That's what we were saying. I was like, Ben, we need managers. We need to get managers ASAP. We got to get this figured out.
Have my people talk to your people.
Yeah. No, it's way better. I mean, like responding to emails could be half your day, and then then that's wasted.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Just running the Instagram alone is an entire job all by itself.
Dude.
That's
we
crazy.
We tried like running social for a while for people and quickly realized like, man, that's just not it's not a good use of time.
No, it's not.
Unless anyways, I'll tell you about that later. But yeah.
This is a lot of
oh my God, I know. My thumb. I feel like I actually am getting arthritis in my thumb from the scrolling thumb.
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna lie. Like I have to give my thumb breaks, and I have to hold my phone with the other hand and use my index finger because my thumb is like getting pain.
Right. I feel like that's the strongest muscle in my body right now.
No, I mean like there's some strength there, but the joint, it's like going out. How sad is that? Like we're the generation that really like just brought up these touch screens like, scroll, swipe right, swipe left. And you think it'd be unstoppable. No, it's done.
Yeah.
It's just crapping out after like 5 years of that,
Give it 20, every single person in the country will have arthritis. In one thumb.
Yeah, we need to like get special like joint lubrication injections.
It'll all be in your eyes soon, man. You'll just be able to look up and scroll that way.
Could you imagine if you had to get like a joint replacement on your thumb from your phone? It's like I got hip issues, but that's from like lifting weights or I'm like dicking around. No, I had to get a joint replacement because of my phone. It's a sad world that we live in.
Yeah.
Is there any message you want to give the young artists out there? Any artists in general?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't let the walls get in your way. Don't be afraid to try new things. If I was afraid to try new things, I wouldn't be creating the stuff I'm creating now. Like I said, it was just off a whim. Someone asked me to do something a little darker, and I did it. Try new things. Try things that you're scared of. Try things that you aren't used to. Try something you have no clue how it works or how to do it at all. Try anything, just as long as you are creating and you're putting in the time, it'll pay off in the end, regardless if it's 1 year to 10 years, 20 years to 30 years to whatever. I mean, and even if it never pays off for you, you will still have the satisfaction of saying, I tried and I did the best I could.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
May the force be with you.
You got anything up for? You got any upcoming shows or events?
So, Jesus, I'm sure I do. I wish I had a manager to help me out with the list right now. There is next Halloween is the one show I want to talk about.
Next Halloween? This Halloween?
This next Halloween. This
10 months from now.
10 months from now. No, I'm pitching it now because it's going to be very important. Dr. Scott and I are throwing a dual show, the two of us. It'll be artworks from just him and I, nobody else.
Dope.
We will be curating an entire warehouse space, and we're going to build it out to the most fantastical, whimsical, scary, haunted house, carnival, Meow Wolf inspired show. It's going to be immersive and interactive, and we've been planning it out. The show itself, the idea has been planned out for over a year, and getting Dr. Scott involved has really helped move that forward. And we've been talking about it since before last summer, and had meetings and have been talking about what we're going to do. And it's going to be the craziest art show / haunted house / carnival / party / live music / everything.
Hey, there we go.
It's going to be It's going to be amazing. It's going to be some crazy shit, and I hope we get everybody that lives in this city to come because it's going to be something that you don't want to miss. That's the only main thing that I can think of.
All right.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars. Halloween. It's going to be a 5-day thing. So if you miss it one night, you'll have multiple nights to see it.
It's like a Burning Man of art.
It's like a Burning Man, except you can't stay there.
There are laws.
Please don't have sex in the building. It's going to be kid friendly until around 9. So I mean,
Nice.
control yourselves. Yeah,
that's what I like to hear. Well, check him out on his socials. What's your socials?
it's MC__monster.
Double underscore.
Double underscore.
Website?
Genuinelywhatever.com.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
We sell genuinely whatever.
Well, you're a cool guy.
You're a cool guy.
Hey,
so are
thank
you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nick, you too.
I hope you come back soon, man, because we like talking with you.
Yeah,
Like
this
your
is
artwork
fantastic.
and,
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That being said, everyone, have a good rest of your day, night, whatever it is. And Black Bulb and McMonster out. Peace.